Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on G4G Games for Gamers. I am your host, Napalm Dom, and today's background music is brought to you by Savant, several tracks off of his Heart EP, and a link will be in the video description. As a reminder, if you like the videos that are produced here on this channel, be sure to subscribe, thumbs up any of the videos, and feel free to subscribe to me on Twitch whenever I'm live streaming. Might have some Evolve live streaming here this week. We've got that beta going on, and potentially some World of Warcraft raiding, Heroes of the Storm, just random games in general. So today here on Marvel Avengers Alliance, I'm going to do a two-part video, and that is basically how to help you in PvP. The two parts are going to be divided into the passives of PvP and the actives. In this video we will be dealing with the passives, and that is basically the structure of your PvP building. The sheetrock, the outer walls, the rebar, the cement, the concrete. That's what we're going to deal with in this video. In video 2 will be actual combat, your heroes, your agent, your synergy, your items. Now, the two biggest things that fall into this video are hero bonus and armory bonus, and I want to describe those two because the Nova season created a lot of quote-unquote high rollers and whales that sat there and just purchased these extremely heavy PvP items. They were very, very heavily weighted, and it created a large disparity in the PvPing populace and was forcing a lot of very naive and unsuspecting people out of the kiddie pool and into the whale pool, and it was creating people who just could not compete. The number one rule that I live by when it comes to socketing items is you can see a lot of these items have high stats, be it offensive or defensive or total. Now you may say, alright Napalm, I have a question for you. How do I know if I should socket an actual item, a piece of gear? I have this Ecotech blaster that I researched, and that's a 27k total item right over here. 13.5 plus 13.5, that's a 27k weighted item. You're like, man, this is going to be so good in my armory. Well, the thing is, you never know what's going to come up. You never know about some team that you see on YouTube from me or Kingfisher, or somebody brings up on the wiki, or some Marvel Avengers Alliance forums that you may be part of, and they're like, yeah, I use this and I use that, my agent used this, and you're like, shit, I socketed that because I thought it was useless. Like, for example, this Savage Totem over here. You're like, oh, that's some pretty decent defensive values there, but when am I going to use a incapacitation magic item on people? Well, you may discover that a hero's release that exploits incapacitation brilliantly, and Savage Totem is the lead. You may be like, when am I going to use Rune of Resolve? This thing seems like poop, and it's got some nice bonuses. I'm going to slot this. Well, the first unslot is free. After that, it costs money. So my rule when it comes to slotting items, and I'll show it to you right over here on page 3, I think it was. Well, see, there it is, page 5. You can see I have a Psychotic Blade slotted over here because of its 11k offensive bonus. Well, that's because I have 2 of them already. So I know even if I use 2 of these on my agent, I should be okay. I'm never going to run 3 Psychotic Blades, no matter what. It's just a little weird. So I took the risk and slotted one, but I will never slot when I only have 2, like these Cybernetic Blasters. I didn't slot these even though I have a duplicate, just in case some crazy little strategy comes around. So that's why, that's a rule that I live by when it comes to gear. If you have more than 2, feel free to slot. Less than 2, don't risk it. Just get it some other way. Because honestly, this is a 15.4 weighted item over here. This Nova Star for 2 gold, just a measly 2 gold, is an 18k. So this beats that any day of the week. Now, when you want to talk about, well, should I replace an item with this thing, or, you know, is that really the bonus that I want to look for? Like, okay, I win another jaw on a spinner. Do I want to replace a Karnak head, or do I want to replace a rat? Well, calculate the total bonus. In the Nova season, these bonuses were 18k. They were almost double the previous generation of the Karnak season, whereas you can see here, these are 10.9. That is a huge, huge jump. And the grenades were pretty big, and then they got even bigger when they went up to 16.4. That's big, and it takes you above even the Karnak and puts you very close to the Nova ones. I think Playdom realized that they were like, man, we gave the whales and the big spenders a huge bonus. Let's give the freebie people something. And that's why they upped the Mad Tech grenades. I don't mind slotting these items very, very easily, no matter how many I have, just because I know I can always get more. But, you know, if I'm down to like 2 of something, yeah, I like to hold on to them, just in case. So what happened in the last season is people who were buying these items here got thrown into a very, very big pool, and what happens is they were facing people who were doing it right when it comes to hero bonuses. The hero bonuses are the check and the balance of combat over here. Now, when you guys look at my win-loss over here, throw out this Trinidad one. I started combat, and before I could even see the team, it said loading, and it said your browser's got to be refreshed. You know, you won't lose any resources. But no, it counted this as a loss, which sucks. But I think it was this guy. I want to show you somebody who was doing it right. Not that you can tell. Yeah, so he was all grenades. And no, it wasn't this guy. But like everything, when I pulled up the report, like everything he did was purple. And that gives you the kind of bonus that you need. Because the grenades, the gold gear, all of that helps your health and your attack, your punch and your hit points. But if your bruisers are not good, all the hit points in the world don't matter. And the reason is any solid attacker at that point now just will knife right through your hit points. It's a hot knife through basically melting butter. You need to have your bruisers give you actual, like a bulletproof vest over here. And that's what these bruisers do. They lessen so much of the incoming damage, and you feel it. Like, I know, I don't care if I get into combat with somebody 11k hit points or 17k hit points. I know from Angel's, like, first AoE Nanoblade what kind of a defensive team I'm dealing with. If I'm seeing, like, 5k, 4k, 6k crits on that first attack, I know I'm not scared. When I see something like 3k and it's a crit, that's when I start to be like, ah, shit. This could be bad. Your top 3 stat givers are Blasters, Tacticians, and Bruisers in that order. Following by Scrappers, and I would put Generalists ahead of Infiltrators. Because Generalists are whipped cream. They just top everything off deliciously. Infiltrators, that's basically the gunk at the bottom of the cup. Blasters are your punch. They are your attack power, and they have a lot of great synergy with your high armory items. The more attack you have, the stronger your hits are. Your Tacticians are your hit points. These guys, and your stamina, these guys give you the most emotional and tangible benefit to your PvP. Having a high population of Tacticians, having high-level Tacticians, takes a raw number that you can see, 12k, 13k, 14k, and it updates it. You level 2 Tacticians overnight while you sleep, the next day you'll notice it in PvP. You're like, man, I was down in the 12s, now I'm in the 13s, the 14s. So this is very, if you want instant gratification that you know, this is what you want to do. This is eating your favorite ice cream, eating your favorite dinner. Blasters and bruisers are kind of like, I quit smoking so I think I'm healthier. I cut out fats so I think I'm eating healthier. That's what these guys do to you. It's not always that visible, you feel it. Like, I just feel defensive teams. Your scrappers give you your accuracy. And you want this, but there are ways of getting around it, like true strike teams like mine, catastrophic attacks. So that pushes these guys down to the middle of the cup a little bit. Generalists add a little bit to everything else, not a whole lot. And infiltrators add your evasion. Banking on evasion is pretty stupid. It doesn't help. So you really want to get these top two going as much as you can. Follow it up with your bruisers, then your scrappers, and your generalists, your infiltrators. If you notice, my blasters are all pretty much above 12 except for Nova and Crystal. Which, honestly, you can kind of forgive me for that. They're just out. But if you look at somebody like Morbius over here, has been out for a while, even he's like a 12. And Star-Lord's about ready to ding over. If you look at who I've got training right now, it's PvP purposes. I have Star-Lord going and Hybrid going for a blaster. Now, aside from people's raw character suits, what else can you do? Well, you can rearrange your team to give you the bonuses that you need. You want to push people into the top 2 and 3 more than anything else, but you can kind of push more people into tacticians and blasters than bruisers. A lot of bruisers and scrappers tend to be the default. Generalists, as you can see here, I don't have Angel. He's been moved into a more important category. I have him as a scrapper because I use him as such. Technically, when I'm not PvPing, I should buy his blaster suit and leave him as a blaster. A prime example of doing the smart thing, I have his movie suit. I have his generalist one, which gets rid of his blaster weakness and gives him still his blaster bonus. I don't leave Rocket Raccoon in his furry little movie costume because it's a generalist. It does no good for him to be down here. He needs to be there. And that's why he's there. You can't move Mockingbird, Moon Knight, Punisher. Quicksilver, you can move him to Scrapper. Rogue is stuck. And of course, Taskmaster's stuck. Here in your infiltrators, Venom, Elektra, Falcon, Fandral, Gambit can't do anything with. Invisible Woman should be moved to a blaster. Kitty Pryde should be moved to a scrapper. These guys can't do anything with. Nightcrawler should go scrapper. These guys can't do anything with over here. On the scrappers, Angel should be a blaster. Black Hat's been moved up from infiltrator. Deadpool could go blaster if you got that suit. Pretty straightforward over here. Can't really change anything. Spider-Man's been moved out of infiltrator, but you can move him to a bruiser for the black suit. Sif can be moved to a bruiser from the movie suit. Well, yeah, the movie suit-ish. Modern Sif. These three over here can't move. Wolverine can be moved around a little bit. Your bruisers are pretty good to go, but Colossus can be moved around, but you want to leave him as a bruiser. It's better than Scrapper. Groot can become a generalist, leave him as a bruiser, but at least here you can get his movie suit and leave him as that. Again, can't do much here. Grey Hulk can be moved to a tactician. Iceman can be moved to a blaster. As you can see here, Iron Fist is not a scrapper. Luke Cage is not a scrapper. Everything else is pretty standard here. Thor can be made a blaster for better bonuses, and everything here is pretty solid. Your blasters and tacticians have a lot of bounce between these two. You can see Beast has been moved out of generalist. Strange could be a blaster or a tactician. He moves around a little bit. Hybrid has a lot of versatility. Human Torch can move over to bruiser, better as a blaster. Iron Man can go tactician. She could go infiltrator or leave her as a blaster. She can change over to an infiltrator, leave her. Storm could go Tactician. And over here, you can move some people around. Black Widow's in her good suit. He can be moved to Bruiser or Scrapper. Cyclops could be Blaster or Tactician. Emma can be an Infiltrator, leave her as a Tactician. Star-Lord can move around, leave him as a Tactician. Iron Patriot could be Blaster. Psylocke, leave her as a Tactician. Marvel bounces around. That's pretty much it over here. Hawkeye's very versatile too, and Gamora's better as a Tactician. So you want to push people into your Tacticians and your Blasters, Bruiser as a tertiary. And really, you know, don't stock up on these armory items so much that your hero bonuses can't handle. Because there's nothing worse than having 15, 16, 18, 20k of hit points that is literally just knifed through in 2 rounds. You know, big crits from Psylocke and her mental coordination. When Psionic Shadow is up, hit points don't matter. Actually, your defense doesn't matter either, but take the hits. Get your bruisers going there. Be smart. And what we'll talk about in video number 2 is actual combat, synergy, heroes that work together, intelligent ways of designing teams, and realizing that your agent is crazy glue between 2 potentially radically different heroes that you may not really dawn on you there. But prime example of that, I want to give you this little nugget before the next video. Nova. Nova's very heavy energy and he's heavy melee. So you could tie Nova in with another melee or energy hero by the Rectifier and the Dragon's Foot. If you had somebody else who was heavily energy based, you can put them together and glue them from your agent by giving yourself the melee bonuses and the energy bonuses. So that's kind of an example of how things run through the agent and how to make an interesting team. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful. Another thing that I discussed with somebody today is, you know, in order to keep up with the Joneses, make sure you get lots of allies and visit them every day. It's very, very easy, and I discovered this because I was slack. It's very easy to run out of shield points when you are training a lot of heroes. You have to hit your dailies up all the time because you get 3 per drop over here, so it's very easy to get 6 or 9 shield points simply by visiting one ally, and that really keeps you in line over there. Starting to bottom out, and as you can see, I'm back up to the 400 and I was down to like 60. So hope this video was helpful, and take care everybody.